we are going to move on to our high noon session. It is 12:03. We have people still coming in. I am going to turn it over to my man, Jerry, who's at UKG, one of my favorite companies. You've got a great crew here. And so, Jerry, let me turn it over to you for this amazing next session.
Great. Good afternoon. Nice to see everybody here today. I'm going to share a presentation with you, and hang on one second. I've been having a few technical difficulties today, so I want to clear some things up, and I'll share my presentation with you here today. All right, let me know when you can see everything.
Well, we got you. We see it.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you. I'm Jerry Nepon-Sixt. I'm with UKG, and I'm a manager in the UKG Technology Partner Program. And today I'm going to talk to you about the program in particular. Talk about what we look for in partners. I want to mention our Diversity Accelerator Program that we have put in place in the last year. Then talk about how we go through having partners apply to our program, some of the criteria that we have for applying to the program, and some of the due diligence to go through with our technology partners. Then I'm going to introduce three key UKG technology partners today: Andgo, the Cloud Connectors, and PayActiv, and they'll each be taking a part in the presentation as we go forward. So thank you so much. And if you have questions, I know this was probably just gone over. I had to drop out for a minute, but the moderator will be taking those questions, and I'll ask for those questions at some point during the presentation. So our UKG technology partner ecosystem really supports UKG Dimensions, UKG Pro, UKG Ready, and UKG HRSD. So it covers our core HCM, workforce management platforms, as well as our document management and robotic process automation platform. So we look to our partners to extend product capabilities to help deploy real-time data exchange between solutions, but also help us deliver innovative solutions. So we become a kind of a large ship of state, and often it's harder for us to turn and innovate in some areas. And so our partners give us the opportunity to innovate in very special ways, and I'll talk about some of those here in a moment. But in more particular, our partners help UKG extend our product capability. So we could add adjacent capabilities to UKG platforms and solutions. And Tom from Andgo Systems is going to be talking a little bit today about how they do just that for us here today. And one of the key things is also to be able to fill functional gaps and to support specific industry requirements where we may not have a solution for a particular vertical market or industry. Our technology partners can help us in this area. And then, as I said before, help us innovate, deliver innovative solutions in the market. We also have partners, and we have Pierre joining us today from Cloud Connectors that help us facilitate integration. So often our iPaaS partners, like Cloud Connectors, can deliver standard out-of-the-box connectors to solutions that are not partners of UKG. And some examples of those are things like point of sale, some down-market ERPs, and other things where their expertise in UKG solutions and in the rest of the solutions in the market give us a ton of value and be able to support our customers, but also help us accelerate partner connectors where a partner may not have the resources or expertise to build the solution and integrate to UKG. Our iPaaS partners like Cloud Connectors can help us in this way. And finally, we look to partners to deliver UKG branded solutions in an OEM or a joint marketing relationship. So it helps us support our go-to-market strategies and helps us address common market demands, particularly in areas where it's maybe not appropriate for UKG to be in the business, or we're not set up through our governance or some other reason to not be in a particular line of business, or it's an expertise we're not going to develop to go into those markets. And so I brought Luke from PayActiv today to talk a little bit about how we engage with with OEM solutions and how he's supported us in that area. So we have particular goals for the program. We get about 1,000 applications ordered to the UKG Technology Partner Program. And so our goals are really set up to help continue to grow the program, meet the needs of our sales team, our product strategy team, our corporate strategy team, and so on, but also to attract and onboard partners that help us support those goals. And it's always a balancing act, really between how quickly and how large we can grow our partnership organization and still maintain the quality of service that we want to deliver to partners, but also deliver value to our customers. And so we have a lot of governance in our processes as we select partners. And we look for particular characteristics in partners. So we're definitely looking for the ability to help us drive sales. We look at the history of the organization, how long they've been in business, the history of the principles in their business, their growth trajectory, what other partners they have in their ecosystem, because that helps us identify, is this an appropriate place for us to be playing? Then current point customers. So we can look through our service requests and find requests to integrate with many, many solutions out there in the market. So we can look at that service history request on our side and find requests for connectors to the prospective partners. That helps us understand some of the customer demand, but also where we have joint customers. And then we're looking for partners who may be an industry leader, either in a particular category, in a particular vertical industry, or you can think about this also in a particular geography where we may already have a solution, for instance, that addresses North American clients, but we need somebody that addresses clients with a similar solution in EMEA or Asia Pac or Latin. We look to innovate, so a new approach to a category or a new category that's kind of at horizon 2 plus. So horizon 1 is, hey, we're seeing the demand and we see how this attaches to our business now, but we're also looking for partners that help us stretch our vision of who we are as UKG and the value we can deliver to our clients. And of course, we're looking for the size of the organization, the number of employees, customers, and things like that that they have, and some of those characteristics. But we're particularly looking for partners that align with our strategy. So we have sales strategies that we need to align with. How are we going to market? Where do we have gaps? Where do we need to move into particular industries where we've been underrepresented as an organization in the past? And we're looking at product strategies. So where can we provide innovation? Where do we support diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging for our clients and so on? We look to be able to fill gaps and add functionalities fast, and our partners can help us do that. But we also want to bring in partners who will be successful with that. So we work hard to avoid collisions to the degree that we can with our short-term product roadmap. If we have something, a strong solution, going to hit the market from UKG in the next several months or the next 12 months, at minimum, we're going to be transparent with our prospective partners about that, so that we can make a joint decision whether a partnership makes sense in that situation. Again, we want partners to be able to come on and be successful, and we don't want to present a lot of joint competition to them where we've been avoiding. And then finally, how do we support a corporate growth strategy? And we certainly look for partners that identify with our UKG value. Now, occasionally we close categories, and I put close in parentheses here because this just means we need to take a second, stronger look at prospective partners in particular categories. And so I see those as where they're top heavy, where they're really dominated, either within UKG, within our sales community or something, or we have oversubscribed categories where we've just reached a saturation point, being able to support and project more partners in a particular category. And so we make exceptions for disruptive or innovative capabilities, or as I said before, specific industry requirements or geography where we need to expand in a particular area. So these are just a few that I would say, again, with the air bunnies around it, closed. But we have really strong interest right now in a couple areas that are exciting for us. So one is mentoring and sponsorship solutions, where we're seeing this as a key area for growth within our customer organization, for being able to support their employees as they onboard, as they grow their careers, as they look at ending their careers and maybe moving out of the organization. There's different mentorship and sponsoring requirements in each phase of the employee life cycle. How can we help organizations manage through those employee roadmarks, if you will, through the whole thing? We're looking at contingent labor and gig work solutions. I heard someone talk about earlier about some of their innovation in this area, and we're very excited to hear that. This is a wide space, and it's different widely by industry, where we see this in healthcare in particular ways, we see it in manufacturing, we see it in tech, and we see it in other industries playing out in different ways. And we see increasingly this intersection of the procurement model for contingent labor and the operational and HR model for contingent labor. So we're seeing some migration there in the ways that organizations are looking at it, and we want to help them utilize those solutions in UKG. So we're looking for specific workforce management solutions in areas like certified payroll, operational areas like contact centers and so on. We're continuing to look for additional support in DEI&B goals and hiring and development and so on. And then very interested in AI, particularly in the analytics field, where we can learn more and explore those opportunities. So just some areas that we're interested in. It's not exhaustive. We have wide range of interest in developing partnerships across a swath of solutions. We've implemented in the last year a Diversity Accelerator Program, and this was put into place for several key reasons. First, diversity, equity, and inclusion are big corporate values at UKG. And we've implemented programs, we've implemented ERGs, employee resource groups. We've put into place a diversity council and have a chief diversity officer at UKG to support these goals and these initiatives and this ethic within UKG. So to extend that and to demonstrate a commitment to these goals that we have, we created this Diversity Accelerator Program. It provides additional entitlements to organizations that support DEI&B through their ownership, through their leadership, through the solutions that they're bringing to the market to help support our clients' desires to build a more inclusive workforce, again, throughout the entire employee life cycle. And but one of the key things we're looking at is we're looking at partners that can develop allyship relationship and help with the thought leadership between UKG around these times. So again, we put this in place. We have about a half dozen partners in this category now that have onboarded with us. A couple of them are a couple more are about to go live in the marketplace in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned to that. You'll see some special press releases about our Diversity Accelerator Program coming up in the next few weeks. I think sometime in the September timeframe. So we have an application process for our partnership program, and we have some governance built around it, as you can imagine. So if you're interested or you know somebody that's interested, you want to refer an organization to our partnership operation, you can send a note of introduction directly to me, Jerry Nepon-Sixt. Just introduce the partner to me, tell me a little bit about it, and I'll take it from there. You could also apply directly. We have a partner application form. We ask everybody to complete that form because it helps us manage the process. It also creates a record in the CRM so we can manage our partner relationships going forward, including leads and pipelines and things like that. So we'll manage the due diligence process with you through that ongoing evaluation that we do jointly. So I manage that with a handful of people within UKG directly. So we do an initial call. We do a tech call, which is basically high-level integration scope and making sure that we don't have technical debt that will get in the way of that. We do a third-party risk, basically InfoSec and privacy review. It's not the same as your clients probably breaking through, but we do that because our customers often come back to us wanting to understand what kind of security and privacy arrangements and agreements do you have with your partner. And it's critically important for us to proceed and be able to represent our partners and help communicate to our partners the kind of security and privacy requirements that we have for our partnership. And then finally, we have a standard partner contract that we execute. So I'm going to ask the moderator if there are any questions about this so far.
Hey, Jerry, it's Ward. I don't see any questions in the chat at the moment, so go ahead and carry on.
Yeah, great, thanks. And so really the next thing I wanted to do was introduce 3 of our UKG technology partners. Remember I said earlier, we have those partners to help extend our product capabilities, to facilitate integration, and to deliver UKG branded solutions. So I'm going to go in that order with our partners today. Heads up, guys. And so the first thing I'd like to do is introduce Tom Ross, who's the CEO of Andgo System. I met Tom, I think for the first time in working with some Canadian healthcare accounts that we were working together. I was invited by the marketing team to come up and engage in some conversations with some Canadian health groups there. To facilitate integrations in our iPad solutions, Pierre Rousseau, who's the president of the Cloud Connectors, will be talking about these solutions and partnering with UKG. Then finally, in our need to deliver UKG branded solutions, I brought Luke Holec here he's the channel manager for PayActiv. And PayActiv is powering a great OEM solution for UKG, and we'll be able to talk about that. And the primary value is that PayActiv brings to the marketplace. And so let's share a little bit about partnering with UKG and some of their experiences as well. So I'm going to kick this off with Tom. And Tom, if you just ask me to hit the magic go button, I'll make sure that the slides are there.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Jerry. And thanks everyone here for the opportunity. I'm really excited about the event here and learn a bit more from the folks here on the call. And so happy for the opportunity to share my experience in the UKG partner program. And so, yeah, kind of here to talk about our experience. You know, Andgo, we're the intelligent shift fill automation partner here for UKG. You know, what that means and why that's important, I'll just go to quickly cover. So Jerry, if you go to the next slide. So when we talk about, you know, filling vacant shifts, kind of looking at the macro market here today, you kind of quickly realize just some of the challenges that are facing a lot of, you know, enterprise and organizations around staffing, particularly filling vacant shifts. I know generally speaking in healthcare, typically you see about 5% vacancy rate on a usual day. During COVID, these spikes that would go up to about 10 to 15%. You know, combine that now with this sort of staffing crisis, this general shortfall where we're about 10% short across the board in the healthcare setting in terms of population or staffing, that now all of a sudden we're at like that 10 to 15% shortage. Every day they're short 15% of their shifts. And so filling those manually is quite an extensive process. One of our customers at the height of Omicron had 3,000 vacancies. So if you can imagine the effort it would take to manually receive those sick calls, update the schedule. And so you can start to see where, you know, shift fill automation capabilities and extensions certainly become valuable. Jerry, if you go to the next slide, please. And so really the category here that we're working in at Andgo is really around that effective management of the real-time movement of staff. Now, where this is important, and I'll touch on this a bit later, is kind of just do a callback to this later on around positioning. And this is something that we've certainly spent a lot of time, energy, and effort on, and we'll continue to optimize just around that positioning. I think this is something that maybe as far as those extensions in the ecosystem, that really a worthwhile exercise just to ensure, you know, where that value prop is coming from. And then Finally, Jerry, next slide. On the, how we're doing it, where our focus is really around internal staff first, so being able to onboard that call, receive it, move it into the UKG ecosystem, and then automate the tools that are already there. So we're not looking to replicate or duplicate. We're actually just looking to drive efficiency with the functionality and capability that's already there. So this is this automation layer that we're providing. Ultimately, the goal, with all the vacancies that are ongoing, we're able to fill these shifts with your internal staff first, exhaust that, do it in an automated fashion that's functional and ready to go. And so that's the quick overview of Andgo. And now I'll kind of move into my experience here with the UKG partner program. And Jerry, the next slide, please. So wanted just to share our timeline here, just kind of like this is unique to our experience. And so we first, we're aware of UKG Chronos back then, and we had a lot of mutual customers. And what's interesting is I prepared my deck independent of Jerry's, and looking at his criteria, I can kind of see how this all played out now, right? Like as far as the program. And so part of it being just, okay, having mutual customers, but we had that for about 4 years. And so we were on each other's radar. Kind of the big opportunity was around, some of these customers moving into that dimensions environment and how we were supporting them there. And that's really what we connected with. Jerry mentioned Canadian healthcare. And so that happened around May of 2019. That was that first connection, worked through the paperwork, which, to be honest, I thought was quite reasonable, considering it was the right amount of due diligence. I know there's organizations that you get buried with. I thought that was a good one there for UKG. 5 months later, we had our integration assessment, and then this was sort of the official launch into that network. And now want to note that this time frame was more of Andgo's resourcing issues. I believe, Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, you can kind of go, today, tomorrow, the next day, and you could be set up in the system if you're ready to go. We had to do a bit of an integration first. And so that's what we got approved. And that's where we launched in time for UKG, one of the events there, which is now called Aspire. And so that was the catalyst there. So, that was an eye-opening experience as far as we were concerned, right? I mean, here we are, a small company moving into this channel partner program, trying to navigate this behemoth that is UKG, right? I mean, you got all these organizations. So it was really a good learning curve in being in that event. And I guess, kind of the lessons learned from there, like how do you acclimate yourself into these organizations as well as attend those events, get there. We had great contacts and support, through the partner program throughout. But there's something about being there in person, seeing the system work that just sort of connects all the dots, and you can start to see it. And so that was a huge eye opener for us, and started, kind of working on connecting the deals and talking to folks. And this is where, originally we talk about now that real-time movement of staff is sort of that positioning that's working well for us. When we started, we were talking about, effective absence management. And we had a lot of reps come up with us being like, why, this is what we do. This is what UKG does. Why do you have Andgo here? And so it was just sort of like getting that feedback and seeing that is like, okay, well, I can see how we're confusing things here, so how do we differentiate as far as like, are we competing with you? It's like, and that wasn't the case at all, but this was just sort of our maturity to go through it. And so it was really, really good, worthwhile exercise and encouraging that, to kind of get to those events as soon as you can after signing up. So it took a year to sign our first deal through the UKG partner program. And the thing about so we sell into enterprise customers in healthcare. That's a long sales cycle to begin with. So this happened kind of almost like as quickly as we would have expected. And it just sort of shows sort of that power when you connect and resonate and just that access of opportunities, which was great. Obviously since then, we've had a lot more opportunities come through and been able to work with them and sort of extend, kind of our culture and values to that. And in recognition, back in November of 2021, we were recognized as White Glove Partner of the Year. And this kind of piggybacking off Jerry's earlier points just about culture and alignment. And I know DEI&B is something that's near and dear to us, and that we've done a lot of work on. And we actually had a charity auction and asked the UKG, asked our partners to donate some swag so that our team members bid on it by donating to charity, and then they get the swag. And so we're like, oh, we're hoping for I don't know, a shirt, a vest or something. Well, we asked UKG and they sent us a whole box, like a complete box of like speakers gear that just swagged right out. And I think collectively those packages raised something like $2,000 as folks were bidding on them, you know, for charities. And so anyway, just this alignment of culture is incredibly important to us on that front. And then you know, the latest one is we were asked to join the Global Alliances Advisory Board to sit on that as far as there goes. And so this is sort of our journey. And I guess the key takeaways here is that it takes time, taking a long approach, and do as much as you can to kind of understand and learn about this, the organization itself. I think you're just going to be better off because of it. And all the while we were receiving incredible support and guidance, you know, to be able to point us in that direction. And so that was super helpful there. The last one that I wanted to talk about, Jerry, next slide, is just a little bit about our philosophy. And again, just kind of more tales from the field more than anything. You know, how we're viewing this is like our goal, like in this channel program is like, we want to eliminate friction, right? If there's friction, yield friction, this is going to repel opportunities. This is going to have reps look for alternatives. They don't want to engage you. And so how do we look at dealing friction, eliminating friction? Well, first off is you know, ensuring that they have what they need when they need it, right? If they're asking for a question, you know, we need to have that answer back. That answer needs to be competent and high quality so that, you know, the deal doesn't get stalled. And then we're even taking it a few steps further of like, how do we remove our involvement in the first couple steps, right? So this is through collateral enablement, you know, demo enablement, so that, you know, they can have conversations when the needs arise, that you kind of coach them on the signals to look for. So when they hear that, they can have an informed discussion with us. And if there's interest, well, then we can come in kind of later stage. And so this is a win-win for everyone as far as being able to eliminate that friction and ultimately, you know, winning more deals. It's not like, oh, we got to bring in a partner. Geez, this is going to slow things down. It's like, oh no, I get to work with Andgo. We get to accelerate this. You know, we're going to win this for sure. The other one is around just kind of like taking a collaborative approach. You know, my mindset is that like not all opportunities are going to end with a sale, and that's okay. But what I want is when there is a question or an opportunity or an idea, I want to be at the end of that call talking about it. Right. And if it's like, you know what, this isn't a fit, this doesn't work, you know, you should go with this partner or this solution, or maybe it's not quite the need there, you know, and that's okay. But being able to, you know, kind of work through that and have that opportunity, I think is the biggest goal there. You know, again, it's like, where do we fit? How do we play within that space? And then again, I've mentioned this before, but positioning, right? Like moving from smart absence management, which was like just met with like, what are you guys doing here, to be more that real-time movement, that automation partners. It's done wonders, right? And that'll continue to iterate and get feedback. In fact, we're just meeting with the healthcare group last week, and they were talking about shift bidding and how shift bidding means this to them. And we had it on this other side. So we're always learning, right? We're always learning on that front. And then, yeah, the other part is just like, in my mind, is like every interaction is an opportunity to add value, you know. So, you know, if you kind of combine all these together, and if we're eliminating friction, being easy to work with, we're collaborative on opportunities, recognizing that not all opportunities are there. And the other one, you know, like by adding value, you know, we're active in the market as well. We're able to share insights back to UKG, which is incredibly valuable. And then we can put our heads together and approach these opportunities, which is great, which is absolutely fantastic. And so, you know, it's been a long time, a lot of effort, you know, put into it. It certainly has paid off and worth it. And as much as we've done, as far as we've come, I feel like with these pieces in place, we're just getting started. So anyway, that's it for me. Happy to answer any questions that may be, or if there's another question period. But Marilyn, thanks for the feedback. I'll pass that on to our designers, make sure that that was well received. So right on.
Yeah, thanks. Any other comments here or questions? Oh,
Yeah.
can you
So
go ahead, Tom.
yeah. So I think it's great to see this partnership work. So I'm a little curious to know, you know, has there been a substantial revenue uptake for either Andgo or UKG through this partnership?
You know, I'm happy to speak on our side, and the answer is yes. We certainly have. We certainly, you know, an uptake that's sort of proven the investment worthwhile. Like I said, the other thing too is in a lot of ways I feel we're early days. You know, like we do a lot of pipeline analysis, and I think last check we were at around 35 to 45% of our opportunities were UKG referrals within our pipeline, and so that's that it represents a significant amount of our deals. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I'll speak from the UKG side, Thomas. I don't know Tom's exact numbers here because I don't manage this pipeline. But I'll tell you that Tom gives us an opportunity to actually do business where we would not be able to without the solution. So when we have partners like Tom and the systems who extend their capabilities, provide some really specific industry requirements and things like that, it allows us to get the business. So one thing I really like what Tom said, and he brought this up a couple of times, is understanding the positioning, making sure the positioning is strong. So we can go to market together and have a cogent message when we go into an account together in a joint sell situation like that. It's critically important, and it requires some hard conversations, maybe even turning a little bit on both sides to make sure that we make that message appropriate for the client and understand them.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, just to comment on that, Jerry, I don't know if you remember this, but when we first got started, we were doing our introduction pitch. And you were one that gave us some feedback. You're like, Tom, like it took 6 minutes to get to the point. Like you need to open with this, right? And so that this coaching that got, like I still remember that because it was right. It was good, you know? And so having that, and ultimately it takes a community to make it work. And that's really what I appreciate about UKG is that support. It's not just like, hey, you're in, you know, good luck. It's like kind of giving you that feedback and, well, this isn't going to play well, and here's why, and understanding that. And that's led to so many more opportunities and then sort of this deeper collaboration, which is where we're at now, which is so good to see.
Fantastic. Any other questions?
Thank you.
For Tom? Right. Let me see if we great. And Katrina, I will be sure to send you you'll get this presentation. I'll be showing you the board afterwards, and you'll have availability to that since you're registered for this for the session. And I'll make sure that you have that in hand. So next, I'd like to introduce Pierre from the Cloud Connector. As I said earlier, we have a class of partners that build connectors to UKG, but also to other systems in the world. And they really help us facilitate our partner connections to other solutions out there that are not our partner stream. So Pierre, I'd like you to take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. So hi, everyone. My name is Pierre Rousseau, and I'm president of the Cloud Connectors. It's a pleasure being here, and I look forward to having exchanges with anyone out there that has questions. First things first, let's talk about UKG and our partnership. We've been a partner of UKG for about 3 years now, and we've focused mostly on UKG Pro. We have some integrations with UKG, with Kronos and a few others, but the partnership has been amazing, and we have always had people just waiting to help us out, and so it's been a great partnership for us. So for us, yes, it was UKG Pro. Now we're fully extending. In September, we're going to go full-blown across the board partnership on all softwares, all systems that UKG owns. So we're ecstatic about that. We're going to build a bunch of new solutions to UKG Ready, which we haven't worked with. But the partnership for us, it was an easy decision to make, to take this partnership and make it evolve to the next level. So definitely looking forward to the next phases in the next years to come with our partnership. So who are we? Who are the Cloud Connectors? So first of all, it starts with an average 20 years of experience. So all the founders and co-founders and the people within our services organization, we have very, very strong HR expertise. So, and when I mean HR, let's be honest here, it's the vast realm of HR, right? It could be benefits, it could be foundational data, but we're talking about the vast realm of HR here. And so when we work with UKG, for example, we focus on two things. First of all, we work with solution partners, right? So that's our bread and butter. Yes, we have end customers and direct customers that we work with, UKG customers, but we build solutions that are reusable and that can be re-implemented easily by partners like you guys are here on this software, on this call. So that's what we focus on, building solutions for HR tech vendors out there that will be connected to UKG, any of the different products, and be able to re-implement them over and over again. One of the things that I'd like to mention about this is, since we've got so much expertise in the HR space, well, it shows directly with our Net Promoter Score. Everyone that we work with say, Pierre, it's kind of the first time that I've worked with people at the integration level that understand my problem, understand my pain, and have actual solutions, right? So a Net Promoter Score, for those of you who don't know what it is, well, it can range from minus 100, can go to up to 100. Ours is 94, right? So it strongly talks about who we are, our dedication to our partners, and our focus to building solutions, integration solutions that really work, that really make a difference. And that's one part. Of course, I have a strong software, right? So our iPass that has been that is dedicated and tailored for HR, and it, you know, the mix of both make something quite unique. And you could go see us on our G2 page if you like, and see some of the comments that people have listed there. Next slide, please, Jerry. Thank you. So working with you and all of our partners, we know that your customers want to have top-notch security, and so do you, right? So we follow all the highest security standards in North America. So SOC 2 Type 2, GDPR, Privacy Shield. We have pen testing every year done. And these are reports that we share with our partners so that they can put their own mind at ease and at rest. But also when a prospect of one of our partners says, hey, okay, so I want you to build my UKG connector. I want to connect to UKG through your software. Well, you know that they're going to be, you know, data is going to be extremely well taken care of, and there won't be any concerns. Next slide, Jerry, please. So from an integration solution, what would be the ideal, perfect integration solution? So first of all, and that's what we focus on at the Cloud Connectors, is we build solutions that will increase your TAM, your total addressable market, right? Going down market, you need to be well connected, and you need to be connected, for example, across the whole UKG suite potentially, right? Other softwares as well, but that's what we focus on, right? It's building integrations so that you can access your TAM. The solutions that we build also improve time to value, lower implementation timelines. How do we do this? Is basically once we've built stuff, we've built an integration, we want it to be reusable. So for software vendors like you, we work with you, we build a solution, and then what we do is we give you the keys so that your services team can re-implement it over and over again. So we're not talking about custom integrations happening over and over and over again. We're talking about building solutions that work, but also that are easy to re-implement. And we're talking about project timelines here, probably anywhere. I've had partners that have, and I'm talking about enterprise customers here, 2 weeks, 3 weeks that were live for subsequent customers. The first one, we got to build it, right? So it takes a bit longer. So it really makes a big difference on your time to value. Of course, it increases your services team productivity, because we want to give you a solution that your own services team can re-implement. So that's very important as well. So you're not dependent on a third-party firm that might be great, right? Doing great business, but I know that in the software tech space, services team like to be able to implement this themselves, right? So that's one area of as well that we can produce, that we can provide you and our partners. Of course, if you're fully integrated, well, guess what? Your competitors, they're going to have a hard time competing against you, right? So that's very important in your overall strategy. Data reliability. Well, of course, if you've got a perfect integration solution, your data is going to be extremely reliable. You know that the data exchange is going to be right on, right? And it's going to do exactly what it's supposed to do. So that's really important as well. And of course, your sales team is going to love it. You know, they're going to be asked, are you connected to UKG Pro? Are you connected to UKG Ready? And so on and so forth. And yes, we are. You know, they're going to be very happy knowing that this is the case, right? So having these in place will facilitate most definitely your sales cycle. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Jerry. If there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them.
Great. For UKG, having Pierre and his team aboard really helps us provide another level of service to our technology partners through their expertise in the UKG systems and their growing expertise across the board as they've expanded their partnership with us. They can bring integrations that they know from your solutions to the UKG solutions in a quick measure, something that is repeatable, which is what we're looking for in our partnerships is to have repeatable integration. Our goal in the partnership is to have our partners control those integrations, and Pierre helps, and his team at Cloud Connectors help facilitate that for many of our technology partners. So thank you, Pierre, for your partnership. Any other questions for Pierre? Pierre, thank you. So I wanted to bring on Luke Holec, our channel manager for PayActiv, and Luke and PayActiv are behind one of our most successful OEM launches in UKG history with UKG Wallet. Luke's going to talk about what PayActiv does, but you'll see that we've launched in the marketplace with UKG Wallet with the tagline powered by PayActiv. And PayActiv brought to the table a whole range of solutions and benefits and so on that UKG could not have achieved on its own. And we needed to launch a brand solution in this category to be competitive, but also meet the needs of our clients who wanted a UKG branded solution to accompany the rest of the UKG solution that they have. And so I'm going to turn this over to Luke now. I gave Luke just a little splash screen. And he has one slide today.
Yeah, keep it easy. Thanks for that, Jerry. And yeah, very excited to be here and speak this opportunity, right, of being an OEM partner and, really the journey it took to get here. Like most people's, comments on here from Tom to Pierre, nothing's overnight, right? You got to earn and make sure that value's there. But taking that step back of, who is PayActiv, right? Like, what do we provide for the wallet and ourselves in general? We founded the earned wage access space 10 years ago, right? And if you're not familiar with earned wage access, it allows employees to access a percentage of their earned but unpaid wages before payday. Up until about 3 years ago, it was a nice to have, but really, you throw in financial stress, financial literacy, really falling off here in America. And then you throw in COVID and pandemics. It's, really that powder keg, if you will, the timing was right. And not only providing earned wage access, as I touched on, we provide financial wellness and pay card solutions. Those are our core products, for our clientele and our employees. And as Jerry mentioned, it filled a big spot for UKG. But before that, we were one of 8 different partners. And I think we were actually, Jerry, one of your last earned wage access partners to be allowed into the, the marketplace. So we were a channel partner, a market partner, as I called it, for 3 years. But the reason I feel that we continue not only join late but get to where we were as an OEM partner is really not only us founding the whole industry of earned wage access, but continually be the leaders of our space and the innovators. We are a free solution for clients, right? So it's always perks people's ears, like, wait, it's free? Like, how does that work? But not only are we free, we require no change of that client's day-to-day business, right? So, we have, that number's grown, right? But probably a little over 1,500 clients now on our, PayActiv platform. When we talk about mutual clients that Jerry touched on before, we had a couple hundred even getting before we became the OEM partner. Since launching OEM, which is still new, like we started taking sales in January, we're almost double that. Right. So we'll touch on that in a minute of that journey of becoming just that channel partner to an OEM and the profit and ROI. And I think for both sides that we've seen of filling these needs for not only new sales for UKG, but enhancing their current clients, offerings and being, real sticky for them. But you can see here, like our space, it's still new in its infancy, even though we started it, 10 years back. But we provide the funds for our employees. When I say there's no change of that day-to-day for that employer, not only is there no cost for them to offer this to their employees, but we're not requiring them to pre-fund anything, change their cash flow. And you can see we've dispersed over $5 billion here. which is crazy, right? So that's employees accessing funds before payday to cover things like gas, medicine, food on the table, getting to work. So that we're very proud to do that. The way we've been able to do that, right, through integrations. Pierre touched on how important integrations are here as well, but we have about 75 different APIs that our team has built, not only with UKG, but with other, time providers, payroll systems, point of sale to ensure accuracy of data. The way that our clients stay happy with us, recruitment retention is top of mind for all clients today. Making sure their employees, which drive their business, are financially sound mentally and not worrying about how they're going to pay that next bill. So it all comes down to adoption. So we work, white glove treatment with every client, whether they're 2 employees or 10,000 employees, to ensure that they're seeing the adoption they expect to see of a program like an earned wage access. So, depending on industry, we're between 30 to 75% of employees using our program, which is huge, right? So they could be using us just for, again, financial counseling. Maybe it's a pay card solution, or maybe it's a combination of everything with our earned wages. But we want them to know that employees are understanding our platform and it's easy to use. And for employers, so it's been a whirlwind here these past 2 years of demand, right? Which is why UKG started to look for an OEM solution, not only to stay competitive, but to just accelerate what they do great at today, right? Of making people their purpose. And they want to make sure that financial wellness and employees can access this. But for employers, we help with everything from recruitment, retention, engagement, right? So 80% of employees, from a visa study, actually switching to employers who offer a solution like this. And once they're there, 90% are staying longer. So when we talk about that first 30-day, 60-day, just natural attrition and turnover, this is a great, again, free tool to keep people in the door and make sure that they have access to just what they need to live life. Then another big thing too is our flexibility. So you can see here, right, the pay card that we power for UKG on the screen, but we don't require a pay card for our platform to work. So we're very flexible in how an employee can access their earned but unpaid wages. And we do that because every employee has different situations. So of course they can send it to the pay card, they can send it to their bank, they can even pick up cash or buy things from Amazon, call an Uber, or pay a bill directly through the app. So it's a very robust platform. But as far as what Jerry had mentioned, before of the steps it takes to be a partner. And Tom, I love that slide as well that you had of the roadmap, but we were there just last year. So we were a channel partner, as I mentioned, for 3 years, when the last one's to the game. And I think they let us in just due to some international coverage that we had of helping out with some of their Australia market in conjunction to the US. But nothing happened overnight. So it's when we look back at where do we get in our mind right here today, and Jerry can always keep me honest, it's how can we make UKG's product better while growing our own? And every conversation that I had, because I've been our channel manager with UKG here for the past couple of years of going through and doing team meetings and sponsoring lunches and trying to get into a golf outing and sponsor a hole and doing the grassroots effort. But it's always, how can I help you get new business or grow your current clients? And are we filling that need? And if not, how can we fill that need? It's how easy can we be? How fast can we get it implemented for you? Like, we don't want to be any reason why we stall a deal or delay a deal. And those grassroots efforts of just education, delivering your promise and then follow through, got us, in my opinion, where we're at with this OEM. And someone asked a question before, was being a channel partner, worth it for Tom? For us, it absolutely was. That when we do our pipeline review, that was a consistent 15, 20%, right, of pipeline that's in there. And if you worked with UKG, they work with some of the largest groups out there. They are the largest, time provider in the world. Just in my time and my experience in the HCM space. So making that transition, right, to an OEM partner, and it's still a newer program, as I understand. I think there's still under 10, OEM partners that are out there in the UKG world, but it's something that was great before somehow got even better, right? And now what we're seeing of what we thought was a good year last year, we did that in the first 2 quarters this year, right? So it's when it has the UKG name on it, it's not only, hey, what in your perfect world can we get better? It's, all right, let's make these changes to make this, better for you competition wise. Like, where in the perfect world of UKG would they want to, outtake their biggest competition. And if we can build in and it makes sense, we're going to add that in our platform. And it's, you know, the level of just one-on-one we get now when it comes to strategy in front of reps, you know, doing the aspires and team trainings and regional trainings and summits is accelerated even more. Obviously, right, we have the UKG name on it, and reps, right, they want to be proud when they're representing it. So before, when we were in a sea of 10 other providers that do what we do, as soon as the UKG name came on, even though it's powered by PayActiv, we were immediately the obvious choice. And, you know, I have a team underneath me, and again, it's only thing that we do now is, in my team, is just UKG, versus last year we had 3 other partners under us. So it's, you know, we want to make sure that everyone is still met with that level of, you know, courtesy, questions being answered, timely, that we're not only getting back to the rep, but the rep's clients, right? Because the best thing to remember in partnership world of what we all do here and what we're looking to do, it's risk, right? It's risk for a salesperson to even offer a lead, whether it's a client or a prospect, in the sense that this, you know, third party partner might ruin this deal for me. So having that level of trust between UKG and then ourselves is huge. And having reps blindly trust us now to the point where, here, you know, call my client, pitch him this, tell him I sent you, is even bigger. So it's been a tremendous journey. As I mentioned, it's took a while to get here, but January we just started doing sales, and you know, it's month over month, quarter over quarter, a tremendous growth.
That is fantastic, Luke. Just to jump in, Jerry, you've got that's your 5-minute warning as to how you want to move towards questions for these 3 fantastic partners of yours.
Yeah, great, fantastic. Now, I'll just wrap my side just by a quick comment on Luke and PayActiv. We put them through the ringer. We had a formal RFP process to bring. Then we opened up to all of the partners, and other people in the market came into that RFP process as well. So this was not just picking a favorite here. This was a very exacting process. It's led by our OEM leader there. And Luke, you work with one of my favorite people at UKG now on a day-to-day basis with Elizabeth. So I'm glad that you have that opportunity there as well. The other thing is that this partnership has allowed us to, as he said, jump into a space in the market with a branded solution that we really need to have. That market to do this. And so we take a small number of technology partners to OEM every year. We're looking at space, and we make decisions around those areas really carefully, because there's much more complex financial and legal arrangements between partners at this level than are in the referral arrangements with partners as we enjoy it. So, Luke, thank you for your ongoing partnership with us. And so I'm going to leave this screen up in case anyone has any questions about it, but we can entertain some questions in the last few minutes. So I have one question from it's related question from James on the phone and from David Bernstein here. So I wanted to talk about how a partnership works if they would engage somebody like the cloud connectors in their ecosystem to build the integration. So is it worth being a partner? And the answer is kind of twofold. As you heard from Tom and from Luke and Pierre, a partner relationship requires investment on both sides. So we have a program that has fees and it has terms and conditions associated with it, because we make substantial investments in our partners, just as a partner through it out. And so one of the levels of investment we make is we align and we partner with an alliance manager who helps connect you with go-to-market opportunities in the pipeline and getting introductions to our field alliance directors, to our sales teams, and those sorts of things. And also being able to engage, as Tom was talking about earlier, in our customer conferences and our sales conferences and things like that. In that way, a partnership is very valuable to somebody who's ready to kick it off and sees the market potential. We can help you analyze what we think that market potential is. However, going with somebody like the cloud connectors here to build an integration gives you an opportunity prove the worth of your solution to our customer base at UKG and the potential UKG clients. And we do have partners that come into the program after going out into the market, understanding the value that we bring to them and wanting that additional level of support that we provide. Hope that answered your question. Do you see any other questions out there, Jack?
No, you got a lot of love going on in the chat. A lot of love.
Jerry, one quick question. So you did mention about some of the areas that you're looking for partnering in one of the slides, earlier slides. So I just wanted to check, do you have an interest or an appetite to work with startups as well in the space, or is it that most of your partnerships are with companies who already have, who have already, perhaps have already have experienced some significant growth?
Yeah, that's a great question, Thomas. So at UKG, we look at the startup market and we understand the funding and everything that goes along with this. But we also have an incubator program within UKG for people in that startup area, right? You're getting through your first round of funding. You have 8-10 people on staff. You get a handful of customers, and we do have an incubator program. And if you drop me a note, I'll provide you some information about how to get recognized for that. We typically recruit for that, but I'd be happy to put anyone on this call who's in that startup mode in front of that incubator program.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent question as usual, Thomas. Thomas, we're loving your questions here. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to now move on. First off, big round of applause, Pierre, Tom, Luke. Just excellent partnerships. And Jerry, I mean, that was a masterclass in how we partner with a massive, large organization that can really drive things for a lot of companies. So thank you to everybody.